Coming to you from the Lydia Media Studios in the heart of Lewiston, Auburn, it's Lydia's Lunch Bunch, LA's afternoon morning show with Mark and Pam. We're covering news and events in the greater LA area and talking to the people making a difference in our community. Feel free to share your comments, questions, or suggestions via email at podcast@lydiamediallc.com.
Today's show is brought to you by Ruper's Beverage and Redemption. When it comes to beer, wine, and spirits, don't botch it, squatch it. At 4 locations in Lewiston, Auburn, and Oxford. Learn more at rupersbeverage.com. And remember, the party starts at Ruper's. Also by DeBlois Electric, building lasting relationships since 1967. From homes to businesses, their licensed, fully trained technicians handle it all. Repairs, upgrades, standby generators, EV chargers, heat pumps, and more. No job is too big and no job is too small. Learn more at DeBloisElectric.com.
Coming up in just a bit, we're going to play our interview with Peter and Kathie Bolduc from Rock Mountain Farm, which is also the cover story of the winter issue of LA Metro magazine. So good stuff there. We're going to get their whole story and a whole lot more coming up here in just a bit. But before we get there, let's take a look at some headlines for Friday, February 27th.
The Maine National Guard sent 24 soldiers and 10 dump trucks to assist the state of Rhode Island following Monday's blizzard that dumped over 37 inches of snow, a new snowfall record for the state, according to the National Weather Service.
I did not realize they got that much snow.
Yeah. One of Kevin's friends lives in Providence, and he was like, we got 40 inches of snow. That's almost 4 feet of snow. That's insane.
It is. The city of Lewiston has an at-large vacancy on its Senior Advisory Council. Residents age 55 plus who are interested in helping to advocate for the needs and interests of older citizens in the community are encouraged to apply. The application and more information can be found at lewistonmaine.gov.
Senator Susan Collins introduced the We Can't Wait Act. The bill would allow Social Security disability insurance claimants to begin receiving benefits immediately after approval, rather than waiting 5 months. The change would result in a modest reduction in claimants' monthly benefit amount. And
the Sun Journal reports that the Lewiston Fire Department rescued a cat who was spotted 40 feet high on a sharply steeped roof at 336 Bates Street yesterday. The Engine 3 crew set up an aerial ladder and was able to bring the cat to safety. Lieutenant Rob Gayton said the cat meowed all the way down, and he wasn't sure if it was out of gratitude or displeasure. Efforts are underway to find out where the animal belongs.
Oh, I hope there are pictures of that.
There are. Oh. Yes, I think it was front page on the Sun Journal. At least on their website it was.
Love it.
Now it's time for the weather.
Rain or shine, it's all okay. Grab your uke and start the day. You don't need perfect skies above. Hey, just a song and a little love.
Sunny today with some clouds rolling in this afternoon with a high of 34 and a low of 13. A mixture of sun and clouds tomorrow with a high of 44 and a low of 22.
In sports, Victor Arvidsson scored 2 goals and Eunice Corpusalo made 36 saves to lead the Bruins over the Columbus Blue Jackets 4-2. Boston will visit the Philadelphia Flyers tomorrow at 3 p.m. How happy was Kevin to see the Bruins back on TV?
He was pretty happy, yeah. The Celtics host the Brooklyn Nets tonight at 7:30.
Brody Emond and Vincent Campbell lit the lamp, and Riley Burnett had 54 saves on 55 shots as the NA3 Nordiques beat the Long Beach Sharks 2-1. Man, that kid was busy in net.
Yeah.
The NA3 Nords will play their final home game of the season against the Sharks this afternoon at 1:30.
That's a lot of shots. What's the average shots
I would
on
in
net?
the 30s.
Yeah. The Maine Nordiques will host the Danbury Hat Tricks tonight at 7:30 and tomorrow at 7 in Auburn.
The Lewiston Maniacs have a home-and-home series against the Northern Maine Pioneers. They'll be in Presque Isle tonight and Lewiston tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Bates College basketball will play in the NESCAC semifinals tomorrow afternoon. The men's team will visit Wesleyan at 2 p.m. and women's team will visit Amherst at 4:30.
And in high school boys hockey, Class A quarterfinal, Battle of the Bridge on the ice tonight as number 6 Edward Little will face off against number 3 Lewiston Mount Ararat Lisbon Morse. That's tonight at 7 at the Colisee in Lewiston. That is your news, weather, and sports. And right now it's time for the podcast segment that is sweeping the Twin Cities. It's time for Famous People Birthdays.
They're famous. It's their birthdays. It's famous people birthdays. birthdays. It's famous people birthdays.
Let's take a look at FPBs for February the 27th, shall we?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to start off with James Worthy, who is a Los Angeles Lakers legend, who, by the way, turns 65 today. The only reason I have James Worthy in here today is because he was an instrumental figure back in the 80s when the Lakers and Celtics had their heated rivalry, and in Game 2 of the 84 finals, he made an errant cross-court pass that was stolen by Gerald Henderson, and he took it in for the game-tying score, leading the Celtics to a win in overtime and propelling them to the NBA championship.
Well, thank you, James Worthy.
Right? We love you, James. You're the best. Guitarist Neil Schon of Journey is 72 years old today. He's the last original member to remain throughout the group's history. He was a member of the rock band Santana before forming Journey, and he was a member of Bad English during Journey's hiatus between 87 and 95. And he was also playing air guitar in that Separate Ways video. But he looked way cooler than Jonathan Cain.
Doing the air piano or keyboard.
The air keyboard.
Interesting.
Neil was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of Journey in 2017. And rounding out FPBs is Ralph Nader, who turns 92 today. He spent his life warning people about the things that are hazardous to their health.
There's a long list.
Oh my goodness, he's such a busy man. He's probably still at it at 92. Those are your FPBs. Now it's time for some OTDs. It happened on this day. It happened on this day. It happened on this day. Remember when you had that song stuck in your head for a weekend?
God.
I hope that never happens again.
You're a liar. 11 years ago today, in 2015, Star Trek legend Leonard Nimoy passed away at 83.
Did you ever get into Star Trek?
Nope, hated it.
Yeah, I didn't either.
My brother was into it. Yeah, not me.
No, I was more of a Star Wars kid.
I like Star Wars. I just didn't get into that either.
Yeah.
21 years ago in 2005, Million Dollar Baby won Best Picture and earned Hilary Swank another Best Actress Oscar. Morgan Freeman, his first Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, and Best Director for Clint Eastwood. Jamie Foxx took home Best Actor for Ray, and The Incredibles won Best Animated Movie. It's a good year for movies.
Absolutely. Yeah. I didn't watch Million Dollar Baby until all the hype was gone, and I had no idea what it was about. And when I did watch it, I was so glad.
It's a great movie, wasn't it?
It was incredible.
Now, see, good movies can actually be good, Mark.
Yeah. So
34 years ago in 1992, Elizabeth Taylor celebrated her 60th birthday by closing Disneyland for a private party with her celebrity friends.
Well, look at Liz.
I want to know how much it costs to close Disneyland for a day.
I wonder if she made her celebrity friends pick up some of the tab.
Crazy. Crazy. Let's see. 46 years ago in 1980 at the Grammy Awards, the Doobie Brothers won Best Record and Best Song for What a Fool Believes. Billy Joel's 52nd Street won Album of the Year. Ricky Lee Jones won Best New Artist. Gloria Gaynor won Best Disco Performance for I Will Survive. Michael Jackson won Best R&B Vocal Performance for Don't Stop Till You Get Enough.
Love the Doobie Brothers. What a Fool Believes is a great song, but out of all that, Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive is the one that sticks out to me because that actually became an anthem.
Yes.
And what a powerful performance she put on for that song.
75 years ago in 1951, the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution was ratified, limiting a president to 2 terms in office.
And there you go. I believe the last president to serve 3 was FDR, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm not good with that stuff, so I'll take your word for it.
All right. Well, that could get you in a lot of trouble. Those are your FPBs and OTDs for February 27th.
Whether you want a sit-down meal or a grab-and-go, Pat's Pizza in Auburn offers delicious sandwiches, pasta, salads, and pizza at family-friendly prices. Pat's Pizza, serving the L.A. area since 1985. Open daily from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 85 Center Street in Auburn. Online at patsauburn.com.
Hi, it's Donna Harris from Phoenix No Limits Karate here with your daily safety tip. Parents, be sure that your kids know their trusted circle of adults. Let's all do our best to keep our community safe.
Dirigo Federal Credit Union is proud to call Lewiston Auburn home. Whether you're buying a house, saving for the future, or growing your business, we're here for you, right where you live. Visit dirigofcu.com and feel the difference of a credit union that truly knows LA.
As promised, Pam and I are joined by Peter and Kathie Bolduc from Rock Mountain Farm in Poland. How you guys doing today?
Doing terrific. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Excellent. And not only do we have Peter and Kathie in studio, Pam, we have the cover story
Yes.
of LA Metro Magazine's winter issue.
Yes.
It is Rock Mountain Farm.
A good-looking cover.
Great-looking cover.
Mostly because of the cow, right?
I agree.
Peter, what do you think of the cover?
I love the cows.
Is the cow stealing your spotlight?
Not at all.
Okay, good. Before we dive in too deep, let's get your origin story about your farming career. When did it all start?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Kathy. I know.
will do that.
I'm pretty sure she will.
She's like, I'm good at that part.
This is how this works.
I think she lives for that.
So I remember it well because we bought the farm in Poland on McGuire Hill in 1991, and it was the 200th anniversary of the farm itself. Oh. So there was some historical significance to it, and it was the McGuire family that had migrated from New Gloucester, and they cleared the land and built a home, and what was left of it it was kind of under reconstruction when we bought it. The old post and beam inside and typical old farmhouse. Somewhere around the 1900s, as a lot of farms throughout New England did, they built the L, and the L was what eventually connected to the barn. So as farming technology improved, farmers said, why go outside in January to milk the cows when I can use the L and cut right through? And so great place, a beautiful spot. We were able to raise our family there. We have 4 kids, and overlooks Tripp Lake, and just a very scenic and beautiful setting. So I grew up originally, Kathie and I are from the Rumford, Mexico area. She went to Rumford, I went to Mexico, and I grew up 5 miles out of town. And as a kid, I had ducks, I had rabbits, I had chickens. When we bought this farm, the very first thing that I did, I remember Larry Jackson and I went on a mission, and the very first animal I brought back to the farm was a pig. We rightly named her Miss Piggy, and we bred her, and then piglets came, and there were more pigs and more piglets, and that's one of the adventures that we went on. But beef started pretty early on in that process. We had 50 acres there, and a lot of it was in field. So we had horses, we had beef cattle, ponies for the kids, and it was just a wonderful opportunity and setting to be able to raise a family and have a small family farm. The cattle has continued to be the driver, and that's what the LA Metro story is about the beef program. We continued to grow the beef herd. At one point, we were located on Route 26 where the old pumpkin land was, yep. And when after the exit, I don't even know how to put it. It was just that was where the haunted hayride was and where the accident happened, and we had at one point in time redirected our efforts to that farm because of being on Route 26, and it was 200 acres, and it was most of it was farmable type of land. But when we went back to the Route 11 farm, I really didn't know what direction we were going to be going in. I think we had around 12 cows at the time, and life had just dealt us almost a knockout punch. And I remember leaning on the fence and having a conversation with God saying, I don't know, but you do. So I decided at that point in time that if it was a heifer, which is a female calf, we would give her life tenancy on the farm, and if it was a bull calf, we would fatten him up, and we'd put him in the freezer. And for the next, it seemed like 4 or 5 years. Normally it's like 50-50, 50% bull calves, 50% heifers, and for the next 4 or 5 years, it was really slated in the favor of the heifers. So we had almost 2-to-1 on female reproduction. So we kept them, and we continued to grow the herd, and so 12 turned into 20, 20 turned into 40, 40 turned into 80. And, today we have probably around 125 animals, cattle on the farm.
Wow.
all together. And that makeup is between the reproductive cows, And then we have heifers that we continue to raise, turn them into reproduction as well. And then we have a road that separates the farm. And on one side of the road, we have all the boys. And that's where we send them to fatten them up.
The boys get fattened
Get 'em
up and
ready.
sent to the freezer.
As it should be.
I was thinking it. She just said it.
So for your listening audience, and for clarification, because a lot of people, they look at a four-legged animal like that and everybody calls it a cow. And so how this works is when a calf is born, it's either a male or a female, and if it's a female, we call it a heifer calf. And that heifer will remain a heifer until the day that she gives birth, and she lactates, and when that happens, she crosses over and she's now a cow. A bull calf is the male, and he will remain a bull calf until such time he says goodbye to his testicles, and at which time he has become a steer.
Yeah, that is information I did not know.
Those are the pronouns that they use.
I don't believe I've ever heard the term goodbye to your testicles on this podcast before, but
Well-
thank you for breaking that ground, Peter.
That might be a new soundbite.
Happy to help.
Are you guys living a dream right now, owning your own farm?
I think anybody that's in the farming business in New England, I think the days between dream and the line between dream and nightmare sometimes can be a fine line. It can be difficult. We take a look at the feedlots in the Midwest. Agribusiness runs most of the food supply in this country, and it's not a surprise for a lot of people to hear today that we are a byproduct of what we're eating. We hear a lot about it. We hear a lot more about it today with RFK talking about the quality of the food supply and the food chain. What's been happening in agribusiness is what has given us an opportunity to continue to build the niche that we're building. I think that if most people were educated as to what's good and what's not, they would lean into how we're doing it. And what I mean by that is we know as consumers what we don't want. I don't want to eat an animal that has been introduced to growth hormones or antibiotics, because the animal itself will build up a resistance barrier. And then the bugs have to become more clever to figure out how to accomplish their mission.
And they do.
And they do.
Yeah.
So we, for a very long time, have classified our animals as what we call a never-ever program. So never, ever are the animals introduced to antibiotics or growth hormones. And those are really the two big no's in our program. We also like to be able to give the animals free range, to be able to be outside in the fresh air as much and as often as they want to be. The way our land is constricted, it's not great farmable ground. A lot of the farms that you find in New England, you'll find them along river bottoms, because that's where the soil is tillable and it's a lot easier to grow crops. We have a beautiful property, but it's not great farm ground because it's rocky. And so what we end up doing is farming a lot of ground that is in the close proximity to the farm, and we bring the feed to the farm. So during the course of the summer, instead of our animals being out on green pasture, we go out and we cut the green pasture and we bring it into them daily to feed them. And so our animals have, during the summertime, they have grass silage or fresh cut grass that's brought in. We also put some of our grass ground into, we call it baleage, which is basically green grass that's wrapped. You've seen the bales around different farms, the ones that have the white plastic on them. So basically, it's like it pickles them and it preserves them so we can use it at a later date. And then, of course, just regular, good old-fashioned hay. And our animals have a steady diet of that as well. And you'll find with cattle, if you put a smorgasbord out there for them to choose from, they will pick and choose what they need in order to make their diet work. So a cow has multiple stomachs, as you may or may not know.
I did know that one.
And they need dry matter in order to be able to process and digest their food.
Kathie, how is farm life treating you?
It's good. I
am in the office. I'm an accountant, so I know the other end of the farm business, which is probably the nightmare part of it.
I was going to say the not so fun part. I feel like that would be.
Yeah. But we have 3 or 4 businesses, so that it all ends up kind of all in. It can be frustrating just because farming is a very expensive. I don't think you ever really make back everything that you put into it.
Yeah. It's hard to prepare probably for what.
Right.
You don't know what to expect, really.
Yeah. And we love the meat ourselves, so we don't want to give it up in that regard anyway. So
where can we buy Rock Mountain Farm beef? Just right at your farm?
He likes to tell the story, so I'll let him do it.
We succeed to a degree in spite of ourselves. Kathie wants to be a mother and a grandmother more than she wants to be in the office.
Sell beef.
And what's happened here between this LA Metro magazine and what we're doing with you guys today, that's like the most marketing we've probably ever done. It's been word of mouth, which is great, right? Because that's the best kind of advertising. So when you go home and you cook that burger on the grill and your neighbor goes, "Wow, that was the best burger I've ever had. Where did you get it?"
That's usually what it is.
And then it's like we dropped a little pebble in the pond 20 years ago, and what you're seeing today is the result of those ripples that just keep expanding and expanding. And it's kind of crazy because there are times like on a Sunday night at 7 o'clock, Kathie goes, "Oh shoot, Liam's supposed to be coming by." So, we know our customers on a first name basis. We know that Liam is going to or from Freiburg with his family or whatever it is. And we know he's training for this, so he needs to eat that. And so Kathie will put up orders for customers and have that stuff ready for them when they show up. It's part of the story. It's part of the niche. We don't advertise. We have a sign out front. Peter had on it, "Real beef, no bull." Last year. And so as the herd has continued to grow, so has the customer base continued to grow.
In the story, it is about the health of the animals, the health of the land. And Peter, you say it all starts with the soil health. Can you expand on that?
One of the things that has happened in this country and beyond our borders over the last 100 years is we've changed the trajectory of how we feed the soil. And, boy, let's go down a rabbit hole. I got to be careful. I got involved with a business out in Kentucky 5 or 6 years ago. The business model is to be able to harvest organic nitrogen and organic carbon and reintroduce that into the soil. And I've learned, I'm not a soil scientist by a long stretch. I certainly didn't go to school for it. But the information that I've been able to pick up through experience in working with this company out in Kentucky, the engine that drives the life in the soil is a microbe. It's a microscopic bug that we can't see. And that microscopic bug needs 2 things in order to exist. It needs organic nitrogen and it needs carbon. It needs a carbon source. And so we have figured out how to do that. We have a patent on the process, and we have this product that is now organically certified coast to coast. Just like I talked about earlier, where the cattle are smart enough to know what they need on the menu, so are the plants that you plant in the soil. And as long as you make the nutrients readily available for them, they'll go after them. It could quite literally change the way we feed people here in this country and around the world. Because anywhere that there's large populations of people, there's factory farming. And anywhere there's factory farming, there's a byproduct. And if we can figure out how to harvest that byproduct, and we have, then we can reintroduce it to the soil. The other option is to buy synthetically manufactured fertilizer, which is designed to feed the plant. So, imagine 100 years ago how New England was being developed. It was a series of small farms, a church, a school, a series of small farms, a church, and a school. And that's how these communities were built up. 100 years ago, everything that we ate was grown within 100 miles of where we lived. And so these small farms would take their waste from the animals, reintroduce it to the soil, which had a lot of carbon, it had a lot of organic nitrogen. And so when you pulled that carrot out of the ground, it had all of the trace minerals and vitamins as God intended that carrot to have. Today, in agribusiness, it's a game of how quickly can we get that carrot to maturity to make it look the way the consumer wants it to look, and we can get it on the shelf. And it's only a shadow of what it used to be in terms of nutritional value to us as human beings
Right.
that eat it.
So what we're ingesting is a percentage of what we used to
That's correct.
ingest for.
So imagine trying to survive just on vitamins and supplements. That's what we're asking the plants to do today with the type of fertilizer that we're feeding them. We're asking that we're feeding them only what they absolutely need in order to look and grow as fast as they can be. I think it all goes back to the soil. Certainly being able to feed animals byproducts that are coming from that, like corn or corn silage or grass silage. That's going to be an important piece of this puzzle going forward as well.
Outside of the 125 cattle on your farm, are there any other animals?
Last year we did broiler chickens again for the first time. That was my son who was making a lot of noise about it, and he wanted to do chickens again.
How'd that work out?
It worked out great.
Yeah.
We didn't grow chickens to be able to sell to the public. There's a licensing process, which it's not terribly difficult to meet, but that wasn't our intention last year. Our intention last year was to grow enough chickens because with our adult children and ourselves, an average family could or should be able to eat a chicken per week. So it's a good protein source. So we grew enough chickens that each one of us, our households, could have our own fresh chicken every week.
Yeah, we intended to get maybe 50 chickens, and when you put Pete in charge, all of a sudden 400 chickens come. And everybody's like, we didn't want to do 400.
He
does everything huge.
She corrects me. She corrects me when I'm wrong, and I correct her when she exaggerates. It wasn't. It wasn't 400
Didn't it start out
chickens.
at 400, and we ended up selling. Yeah, never mind. But
I think it was only 300.
even if it was 300,
I think it was
it's
only
still-
300.
It tripled.
How many people do you employ on the farm?
So we have a guy who's the son of a dairy farmer, and he has been with us for about 15 years, and it's in his blood. And he has not taken a day off in 10 years.
Wow.
And we want him to. We encourage him to.
Right.
But he said, why would you take that away from me? He said, that's the thing I enjoy most. So he comes in 7 days a week, and he feeds the cattle. He does the largest percentage of the planting, and he does a large percentage of the harvest as well. So I really got to give him credit. The fact that he doesn't take a day off or a vacation makes him Mr. Grumpy Pants, which isn't always great, but he puts the animals in the herd health first and foremost, and he just does a really good job. Typically, we'll have 3 or 4 people at the farm at any given time.
How tough is it farming in Maine?
Well, it kind of goes back to what Kathie said earlier, and she was talking about multiple businesses, and sometimes you need multiple businesses to support something that you're doing that you love to do. For me, I've always been a student of business, and part of that is understanding how to live within your scale, and that's not something that I can tell you that I've mastered, but I certainly understand the concept of it. I always remember the movie Hope Floats. Do you guys remember that?
Oh, yes.
So it was Sandra Bullock, right? And Harry Connick, and she was the prom queen, and she went off to the city, and she comes back, and they get reintroduced. And he's a painter. That's what he does in town, is he paints houses. And then on their first date, he brings her to the house that he's building, and it's like this architecturally beautiful thing. And she says to him, she goes, explain to me why you're painting when you could be doing this. And his response is the part that I'm making the long story out of. His response was, wouldn't that be the American way? Take something that you enjoy doing and twist it and contort it and grow it to a point where you forget why you enjoyed it to begin with. And so I think when you talk about farming in Maine, you've got to figure out where your scale is, and you've got to figure out where your comfort zone is. We've watched a phenomenal attrition rate with dairy farmers exiting stage in the state of Maine over the last 30 years. There's a lot of reasons for that. The average age of a farmer, I don't know what it is today, 10 years ago was 70 years old. The average age of his equipment was 30 years old. And the reason that we have the demise in this going on is because of we have government on one side regulating and we have government on the other side subsidizing, and they've squeezed the producer to the point where he can barely survive to begin with. And so the reason a lot of these farmers were able to keep going as long as they did is because they either bought and or inherited large land masses, and they were able to chunk off a piece at the end to sell to the next person that was building or developing. And you guys have seen it, right? We drive around the parts, where we grew up as kids or where we've grown up, we've as young adults where we've matured. And, that used to be a field, and now there's 6 houses in it. Right. I think that, there are some great examples of family farms that have shown sustainability. You look at the Belangers on the other side of the river. You look at the Bell Farm, the brothers. Take a look, Dee Caldwell up at Caldwell Farms in Turner, who we cannot say enough good things about. Dee is she's second generation. She might even be, I don't know. I knew her father, Ralph, also known as Raz. I knew him for many, many years. And Dee, after Ralph's passing, she stepped into the role and took over the family farm. And she's had to adapt and change as the times have changed. There was at one point in time they were big into composting and were doing animal bedding as well as dairy. And today her focus is predominantly in the beef end of the business, and that's who does all of our butchering and cutting for us as well. So we are very grateful for her presence in the marketplace and her ethics and she does a terrific job. We can't say enough good things about her.
Yeah. Who wants to tell us about the mountain at Rock Mountain Farm? Because that's where Pam wants to go eat.
Well, and I learned by his story, too, that I know why it's called Rock Mountain Farm now, because of the soil is very rocky.
Oh,
is
yeah.
that
brutally rocky? Our house on McGuire Hill, the original house that we moved to in 91, was built in 1791. And if you go down over the hill just a little bit, you're going to come to the Fernald Stock Farm, which was built in much later than ours. That was built in 1793. And that is still occupied by a Fernald to this day. And at one point, Jim Fernald's great-grandfather was the governor of the state of Maine. So there's a little bit of cool history there as well. Calvin Coolidge went to his funeral on McGuire Hill back in the day. I'm telling you all that because the Fernalds owned some big chunks of land in Poland. And back in the day when the son would inherit the good farmland, and the daughter would inherit the crappy farmland.
No way.
True story. That's because the son was typically the one that would stay in the farming business with the dad and keep it going. So Jim's aunt owned the farm on Route 11 in Poland, and we bought it from her in 1997. We didn't know that it had the view that it has today until back then we were in the firewood business, and it was January, and we had a skidder up there cutting, and I stood on the roof of the skidder, and I kind of squinted my eyes, and I said, I think that's Thompson Lake. I said, keep cutting. And I came back a few days later, and I said, that's definitely Thompson Lake. Keep cutting until I tell you to stop. And so we didn't know. We didn't know that it had. So I always talk about the farm on Route 11 as a pretty head with an ugly haircut. So what I mean by that, so when I've worked the land enough with excavators and bulldozers to understand it. And when that glacier came over the top of Black Cat Mountain, it dropped the amount of rock that it did between our place in Thompson Lake and Tripp Lake. And so under the surface, it's manageable and you can move it, and it's a lot of glacial till. It's not, like I said, it's not great farm ground for planting crops. And it's just the overburden of rock is mind-numbing. Thus the name, Rock Mountain Farm.
Yeah. You've had weddings there?
We have.
It's an incredible view,
Yes.
an incredible facility.
I'm hoping the next generation has the desire to do something on that mountain for events. I just crossed over into the 60-year-old club last November, and I still have plenty of wind left in my sails, but I also have to recognize I probably can't do everything and everything well that I want to do. So I need to kind of pick my lane, and I hope the kids. We've got 4 bright, beautiful kids that are a byproduct of this entrepreneurial family and everything that that we have. And if they want to do something, I would certainly encourage them to do that. I mean, the view, as you know, I mean, it's you look at Mount Washington, to be up there mowing the grass, mowing the lawn in June, looking at a snow-capped Mount Washington is pretty cool.
And this is another situation where it's like organically growing, where people are calling me and saying,
Hey, can we do something?
and we kind of put them off a little bit, only because we don't. When two of my daughters got pregnant together, almost together at the same time, they wanted to do stuff on the top of the mountain, but now they have to deal with babies and stuff. So it's still on the horizon.
Right.
It's still like on the horizon, but Pete and I have kind of, with all the other stuff we have going on, it's not our focus. We'll have things up there if it's somebody that we know.
Right. And or if it makes sense.
Yeah, if it makes sense. But to have somebody come to us and say, we want to do our wedding on the top of your mountain.
And then help us put it together. You're like, that's not really what we want to be doing. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd rather just rent, hey, if you want to use the property, that's fine.
Right.
Even then, there's work to be done to make sure that it's ready to go.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of we've
We've
spread
enjoyed-
very thin, right?
We've enjoyed sharing it. I refer to it as God's mountain. We're just the current stewards of it. So friends and family have come to us in the past and asked us to be able to have their wedding ceremonies, and we're
And my daughter got married up
we're
there. That was
more than happy to do that. We're part of the East Auburn Baptist Church family, and every fall they have their worship on the mountain day where they go up, and it's just it's just a great event. Every year we make it available for our friends at Operation Reboot. I don't know if you know those folks as well. Yeah. I mean, talk about an honorable and noble endeavor. So for us to be able to come alongside them and to help them accomplish their goals, that's a win for us as well. I think they've done it, 4 or 5 years now?
It's going on 6, I think.
I lose track of time, but yeah.
Yeah, they do
Happens fast.
They do a big cookout and raffle.
So for those that haven't been there but are listening, I'll paint a picture for you. So I talked about Mount Washington. That's kind of on the left-hand side. And then you look at Thompson Lake from one end to the other, from Potash Cove, which is closest to us, all the way up to Oxford Village, which is on the other end. And also McGuire and Black Island out in the middle. And then we have McGuire Hill in the middle, and then to the right of that is Tripp Lake. And then if you look off to your right-hand side, you can see Streakin' Mountain and Buckfield. So that's kind of like it's a 180-degree panoramic view, absolutely beautiful. The really neat thing about the property that I've discovered over the years is in the summertime, our weather comes from west to east, and to our west is Sebago Lake. So when you have some of the big nasty storms that are coming our way, they hit the air thermals on top of Sebago Lake, and it's like Moses parting the sea. It's just like I can watch the storm breaking up on the Oxford Village end, and I can hear it breaking behind me in New Gloucester, and I'm sitting in sunlight on top of McGuire Hill, on top of Rock Mountain, rather.
Yeah. I made for good prom pictures, too. We were there a couple times for prom pictures.
Just curious if you would have any advice for young couples looking to get into farming.
Yeah, we have you don't know this, Kathie, but
Kathie's learning a lot
There's
today.
a lot of things I find out right as they're happening.
Joyce from Paul's
Yeah.
Clothing, some friends of ours. Her nephew retired from the military, did some real estate development. I'm not sure what state he's in. I know he's in the state of Maine today. And they're looking at buying the old farm on Route 26. So I'm going to meet them over there Saturday and kind of share with them some of the stuff that we did and some of the vision that we had for that property as well. I think more people are doing that today.
I feel like there's a lot of things that people just want to take a step back, get away from all the technology and the screens and kind of go back to the basics a little bit. So
one of the things that I wanted to do, and it's in the bucket list. It hasn't reached the top yet, but I talked about it when our kids were kids. In the area that we live, there's a lot of pretty people from away that send their kids to camps here in Maine. Yeah. I wanted to give them an option, and that option was to have a farm where they could come and get digitally detoxed.
Yeah.
Just too much screen time.
So much.
This smartphone, the greatest invention of mankind, and simultaneously the worst of invention of
100%.
mankind.
Yeah.
And, to give the kids an opportunity to get some sweat equity into their own program,
Yeah.
literally,
Yep.
and be on the farm and get out there in the gardens and tend to the animals and do some chores. And
Yeah, and I think initially there'd be some, hesitation on it, but after a bit, they're going to find, like, you know what, this is actually pretty nice. Yeah.
I have a dear friend of ours for 30-plus years. His son, they were living in Connecticut, originally from Maine, but raised their kids in Connecticut. He would come to Uncle Pete's farm in the summertime, and it wasn't. He didn't think it was
Fun at all.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't because he was doing well and they wanted to reward him. It was because he was, stepping over the line.
He needed a little bit of discipline, or
But he remembers it today.
Yeah, I bet.
He's 35 years old today,
Yeah.
and he remembers being in the hayloft, putting the hay bales away, and he remembers being in the field. Of course, that never happens when it's cool and the shade is out. It's always 90 to 100 degrees.
Of course.
Right. Peter and Kathie, is there anything else about Rock Mountain Farm that you would like our listeners to know?
Well, I think, going back to what I said earlier, that, it's God's mountain and we're the current stewards of it. So I've always wanted to share it with anybody that had a desire, right? So it's got some of the most beautiful sunsets. Kathie and I actually camped up there for one summer in between. And we had a calendar on the wall, and we would score the sunsets every night.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So at the time, there was no internet and no electricity, and our television was watching the sun set with a grill going,
Yeah.
and just really taking a moment. It's probably the last time I think I remember stopping to take a moment and breathe. Maybe we need to get back up there this summer.
And I do think over the next few years we will have more. We'll have it available for events more when the kids are. I think they're getting to the point where they're ready to do
Right.
something.
Yeah.
so.
At the beginning, there's a lot to take care of when they're little and small and
Yeah.
busybodies, but yeah.
Rock Mountain Farm is located at 840 Bakerstown Road in Poland, and you can find them online at rockmountainfarm.com.
Uncle Andy's Digest is turning 30, and you're invited to celebrate with us. Join us Friday, May 22nd from 6 to 10 p.m. at the Hilton Garden Inn Auburn Riverwatch for a night of celebration. For 3 decades, Uncle Andy's Digest has been Central Maine's community-focused monthly advertising publication, connecting local businesses with loyal readers. Enjoy 90s music from Palo Entertainment, hors d'oeuvres, a cash bar, and recognition of our longest-running advertisers, and much more. Find all the details in the latest issue of Uncle Andy's and on Facebook. We can't wait to see you there.
All right, guys, we have our final segment of the show is called 3 Random Questions.
All right.
Where we're going to ask you questions that have nothing to do with farming. We're just trying to get to know you a little better. You guys good with that?
I mentioned earlier that I'm often wrong, seldom in doubt, so let it rip.
All right. We'll let it rip.
And I agree with you on that one.
All right, Kathie, if there was a movie made about your life, what would be the one scene that people talked about on the way home?
It would be with the family all together, and we're in this little space that, 700 square feet? And we have 4 kids, and their significant others, and 6 grandkids, all 7 and under, and they're bouncing off the walls, and it's just so loud and chaotic, but we love it. And when they leave, Pete and I look at each other, and we just like, we go, yeah, it's like
We exhale.
just the quiet, So it's so just chaos, a lot of chaos. But we wouldn't want it any other
Right.
way.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's welcome chaos.
Yeah.
We always said we could do a reality show. Probably be pretty funny.
All right, Peter, same question.
Yeah, mine, I go back to that summer of camping on the mountain, watching those sunsets, eating food that we've grown on the mountain, on a grill, outside, listening to the whippoorwills as the sun is setting. I mean, that's the scene. And Kathie's there with me, too.
Just for clarification.
Yes.
As long as I'm quiet.
And not correcting me.
All right. So our kids went to school together. So I have some memories of them at Poland High School. Some of my favorites was Kathie on the sidelines when I was coaching Peter, because I would have been that mom had I not been coaching, and I loved it. I think there were times I actually laughed out loud. It was great. But so my question is, what is your favorite sport, and is there a sporting event that you would like to attend that kind of sticks out for you?
Well, basketball is definitely my favorite. It's indoors. I don't know.
Climate controlled.
I actually love it. Let's see. I think everybody would kind of like to see, what's the name of that? Why can't I think of his name? Cooper Flag play.
Oh, yes.
I'd love him to be on the Celtics.
I feel like someday.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? No, but definitely basketball and Celtics game or
Big Celtics game. But have you always been a Boston fan?
yes, all the way, all Boston.
Yeah.
Red Sox, Patriots, Celtics. Yeah, my dad.
What kind of things were you yelling during the games?
I can remember one in particular. It was my favorite.
Do you actually think I remember any of it? If I think back,
Pam does.
Well, I think back because now I'm going to Jack 7, and I'm going to like his little, they don't really do much. And I'm like really quiet, and I'm thinking, I will never act like I did. I mean, it was like something takes over you. He would look at me, he would like, I'm not sitting with you.
It was easy to look at her because I was on the other side of the gymnasium.
I don't know, Peter. Were you always quiet?
Yeah. There was no room.
I just was very competitive, wanted to win. And Poland was frustrating. Like we always had these good athletes, and for some reason they just couldn't like.
Yeah. I had to start eating lollipops so that I wouldn't.
Oh well, you should have told me back then.
That was the Rumford in her.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah, my brother played on the team in Rumford when they won the big. Back in
Late 70s.
Yeah, when they won the whole state, and we were.
Has that ever happened again?
I don't think so. Yeah, very competitive family. We fight playing Pictionary. Kind of thing,
That's what makes it fun. I think.
Yeah.
I'm also competitive. But no, I remember this one in particular. I can picture it perfectly. It was middle school, and Peter would always pass the ball with one hand, and it drove me bananas. And you... Don't pass the ball with one hand. And I was like, I don't have to say it. Thank you.
She was like your assistant coach.
I'm already saying, oh, that's right. I was telling Jack. Jack was trying to, like like he's trying to just grab the ball, like tap it and run with it. And I'm like, grab the ball. I'm like, I need to not go to games. I don't want to be known as that grandmother. So.
We become byproducts of our upbringing.
Yes, for sure.
And I have sat on the sideline and I watched Kathie's mother and father, and then I said, there is no doubt that apple fell directly into the tree.
That's true.
Peter, how about you? What's your favorite sport? And do you have a sporting event that?
Yeah, it's football. It's got to be football. But I'm one of those, more of a fair weather fan. I loved the Patriots when they were winning.
I mean, there was a long stretch there.
We had a run. I really fell out of love with them when they decided to take a knee. I really had a hard time with that. And Drake made me forgive them and start watching them again this year. So it's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah,
it was a great show to watch. Patriots football is my way to go for sure.
Okay, final question, and we'll start with Peter on this one. Peter, if you were presented with a time machine and you could only be gone for one day and visit one location, in the past or to the future, where would you go and why?
Yeah, I think being there to watch them sign the Declaration of Independence,
right,
that would be my mark. That's where I'd want to be.
Cool.
I don't get as deep as Pete. I'm like so all about family, so I think of some times that I probably, as a mom, or wasn't in the moment.
Right.
It's always like, we got to get to tomorrow. And like, what's tomorrow? What do we have going on? Or
right.
Yeah, just to, now that I'm almost 59 next week, that definitely living in the moment when my kids were little. Just that definitely, because that's not one specific time, but probably when they were toddler, 5 years old type thing. I always felt like I was stressed.
Yeah.
You're always thinking
Enjoy it more.
5 steps ahead,
Yeah.
Right.
what you need
Yeah.
to do.
And then the next thing you know, you blink and you're like, what happened?
I have grandkids.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a lot of fun. I hope you guys had some fun as well.
Absolutely. Thank
It's
you.
fun.
And once again, folks, if you'd like to learn more about Rock Mountain Farm, go online, rockmountainfarm.com. Thanks to Ruper's Beverage and Redemption and DeBlois Electric for sponsoring today's episode. And if you'd like to be part of the Lydia's Lunch Bunch advertising family, reach out to Pam Ashby via email at pam@lydiamediallc.com.
Have a great day, and remember, don't bite your cat. And I will say, I have bitten my cat.